Check, check, check. What is up? Check, check, check. Are we live? Check, check, check. I'm streaming somewhere. Here we go. Cool. Looks like I'm live. What's up? Wanted to start a couple of minutes early just in case there were any technical issues. Storming outside, so I didn't know how my internet would be going, but it looks like it's going fine. I am Jonathan Crane, mediocre Cat 2 cyclist out of Birmingham, Alabama, and I am watching along with Boise Twilight. What's up, Taylor? Thank you. Appreciate it. So going into this one, we have got a lot of storylines to follow. So obviously, I streamed this one last year. Legion went 1-2-3 at this one last year with Justin, Corey, and Ty Magner. Yes, women's race just ended. Do you want the spoilers? Or do you want me to save the spoilers? It's not too much of a spoiler, I guess. But big names won it. I'll say that. But women's race just ended. Men are about to start doing call-ups right now. So last year, Legion went 1-2-3 at this one. Okay, Schneider won with Maggie Coles-Lister second in the women's race. Coles-Lister had a time getting around that whole Legion train in the women's race. In this race last year in the men's, Legion went 1-2-3. So last year the whole season was kind of shifted. So this is the beginning of the second half of the American Crit Cup this year. Last year, this was like the second or third big crit race. So this was the one where Legion had just dominated Tulsa, and then coming into this was the first chance that teams had to kind of like prepare and like tweak some things after like the shock and awe campaign that was Tulsa by Legion last year. And Legion did the same thing at this one. They controlled the whole race from the front, set themselves up in the final, and went 1-2-3. So, talking about Brandon Feerhy here from Project Echelon, he is sitting first in the men's sprint competition with 70 points. I guess I'll show you guys some points. Let's talk where the points are at right now. Okay, so the men's individual results. We've got Alfredo Rodriguez from Best Buddies, 296 points, and then Feerhy is in second on that, 219, and then we got Thomas Gibbons from Automatic with 169. And then Gomez and Lamperti. A lot of interesting stuff going on here. I don't think we're going to see big changes in this. It seems like mathematically Rodriguez, barring some kind of catastrophe, has that pretty much sewn up. Here's Brandon Feerhy from Project Echelon. So he's second in the overall, first in the sprint competition, so I think we'll probably see him going for the sprint points, unless he wants to try and close down that gap of, 80, 90 points? Pretty decent-sized gap there on the points to move up. So an interesting thing about this is Thomas Gibbons is sitting third here at the 169. I think that the gap from him to Alfredo Rodriguez is big enough at this point that he's probably giving up on winning the overall as an individual rider, which he has won a couple of times. This is the first year it's been American Crit Cup, but when it was USA Crits, when there were different national series, he was the individual winner a couple of different times. And I know that is often that team's big objective for the season is for him to win the overall. But he has had a string of second places this year. I think he's had like 7 or 8 second places this year, Thomas Gibbons. So I think he's really hungry for a win, and it's actually probably good that the overall is out of his grasp at this point, because it's going to free him up. So rather than, okay, here's Luke Lamperti. Another interesting thing from that results list, he's 5th on the overall. He's also the American Criterium National Champion, and he's won that 2 years in a row. I think a lot of people thought that was a fluke, maybe, because when he won it last year, there was a crash on the last lap. Corey Williams went down. Some Best Buddies riders got tangled up. A lot of the favorites got tangled up in a crash, and Lamperti got through clean and won the race. This year there was not a crash like that. Lamperti just did the work, and then he won the Omnium at Tulsa Tuck. So, and that's as an individual rider. There's no other teammates from his Trinity Racing team out here. I got Kyle Teasler here from in the Nashville local cycling kit. He is sitting sixth in the overall, I believe, sixth or seventh. So that's pretty awesome. Red Bull being on the helmet have anything to do with only new evade on the with it's only the new evade. I don't see Robin. I'm trying to find the connection there, but I'm not following you. I don't think. Question is about the Red Bull helmet. So Red Bull only sponsors 3 road cyclists, I think, 4 maybe, but Justin Williams, Wout van Aert, if you've been watching the Tour de France. But Wout is sponsored by Laser. So if you've been watching the Tour, you saw his Red Bull Laser helmet win today. So I don't think it has to do with the specific. I'm assuming you're talking about the new Evade. That's the new Specialized helmet. I don't think it has to do with the helmet brand or anything. That's a personal sponsorship with Justin Williams. So we got Thomas Gibbons right here. I'll go through some of the storylines going on. So Gibbons is really hungry for a win. He is free from the, blessing / curse of going after the overall. So he can kind of roll the dice a little bit more than he has been. And he's got a few of his, so he's had some teammates have been injured, been out, and I believe there's still one. I think Dalton is maybe still out, but if you've been watching this channel, I did a crit season preview with Davey Dawson from Automatic, who has been injured, who's normally like the second or third last guy in Gibbons leadout. He has been injured for a lot of this season, but he's back tonight. They've got Ed Veal tonight. Automatic is kind of bringing its A squad lineup tonight. So, and they're really hungry for a win. Interested to see what they can do. Another interesting wrinkle to what's going on is, this is a Legion course. This course is flat, fast, wide open, 4 corners. It's big and wide, and Legion brought their A squad. Legion has Justin Williams, Corey Williams, Tyler Williams, Ty Magner, Alec Cowan, maybe Sam Boardman. Yeah, I did know that, honey. Yeah, Gibbons team Automatic did a racer grant for amateur racers to help pay for some entry fees and some travel fees and stuff, which is awesome. They also Automatic started a development team this year called Automatic Lonely Hearts. So Blazers in the blue jersey here, Miami Blazers is running a slightly different look tonight with the blue and pink jerseys. I'm not sure if they're just mixing it up from the black because of the heat or what the deal is there. But I got some interesting stuff about Blazers that came up. I'll get into that later in the race, maybe if there's a lull later. I'm seeing Lamperti in the Stars and Stripes up there, hard left as I'm looking at it. He's already up there. Robin, I still don't think the Red Bull sponsorship has anything to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Corey probably just got the gold helmet done custom, and then hasn't got a custom one of the new ones, so he's just still wearing the old gold one. Which the gold helmet is weird to me because when I see that, I always think Olympic champion, which not the Olympic champion. That's just like when you see gold stuff, it's normally someone who is the reigning Olympic champion or has been in the past. Storyline stuff. So we did not have a stream, and not just I didn't have a stream. There was no stream at all for Harlem. Apparently, it was tough to get some internet service there, tough to get a good enough signal to stream out from that course. But here are the results from Harlem. Harlem was the previous American Crit Cup race. And the big thing to notice here is that you don't have any Legion riders in that top five. Corey Williams was their best placed rider at seventh, but Alfredo Rodriguez winning that one is unsurprising. Best Buddies has been kind of the Legion slayer this year, but Harlem is another flat, fast, four-corner race that Legion has traditionally dominated at. So coming into this race, I think in normal circumstances, Legion would be the obvious odds-on favorite. Lamperti hit in front really early here for somebody who has 0 teammates, but way to take it on, I guess. But yeah, Legion would be the odds-on favorite most of the time. But Justin is coming off an injury, broke his shoulder early in the season. Corey just had a kid. Ty Magner is probably one of the strongest riders in America right now. He's here. Alec, there's Ty. Speaking of the devil, Legion jersey on the front there. He's got the Stars and Stripes bands. Former national champion there. A guy that I have had the misfortune of racing against here and there in the Southeast. Looks like CS Velo is starting to send someone up the road, and maybe that is Clever Martinez from Clever Martinez, second wheel there. Blue Miami Blazers jersey, big poof of hair. Clever is somebody who showed a lot of promise last year when he was on Rockland Velo Racing. Didn't have quite as strong of a team behind him, but did a really good job of freelancing it in some of the finishes. One of the only guys who was able to semi-successfully infiltrate the Legion train. Hasn't had huge results this year for Blazers, but I think they've been figuring out that team. They got a lot of guys that are all equally capable of doing well on that team. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe tonight is the night they figure it out. He's also easy to pick out because he's got the GoPro on top of his head there. So I'm not really even. I don't really even want to make predictions about tonight because it is so up in the air. This is a course that really favors Legion. We saw Legion win one of the 3 days at Tulsa Tough. So Legion won the first day, which I streamed. I did not have them picked as the favorite that day, but then they did not win day 2 or day 3. And day 2 of Tulsa Tough, I don't know if you guys saw that one, but Matt, I'm going to get there. I will talk about that later. So day 2 of Tulsa Tough, Legion was doing the Legion thing. They were controlling it from the front. Something we're not seeing right now. Legion has not taken the front and gotten up there 6 deep and started rotating the way they like to do. So Legion was doing that. They had their whole team on the front setting a hard tempo at day 2 of Tulsa. And with about 4 laps to go, the Best Buddies train came over the top and got around them. And yeah, no Gavin Hoover today for Legion. I guess you guys are so eager to get into it. I guess we'll get into it. Yeah, so Miami Blazers, if you guys want to go down, I'm going to get so much crap for hating on Legion. I'm not hating on Legion. Legion has done a ton for the sport. I'm sure a lot of the people watching this stream are watching because of Legion. They've been extremely dominant, especially last year. Unquestionably the strongest crit team in America last year. But I don't love some of the stuff they're doing last year with the Into the Lion's Den crit. There were some good ideas there, but also some goofy stuff there. So Miami Blazers is owned by Justin and Corey, which I don't love the idea of guys on another team owning a team they're competing with. That's not so egregious, but I think the direction that's headed is so Into the Lion's Den was a crit that Legion put on last year. They put on their own crit. They put 2 squads into that race, which was goofy. So Legion had twice as many people as every other team. They also, bragged about how it was the biggest prize purse in American racing, but they kind of stacked it in their favor by having 2 teams, building a course that really favored their 2 teams, and then basically like winning all of their own prize money back, which was just goofy. It's just not a great model, I think, for one of the teams to be owning the race or the race organization. I think that so they own Miami Blazers, and if you look that up, it's really hard to find any information about it. I found this article from a Barbados website that does mention the team owned by Justin and Corey Williams. It seems like they've made it very hard to find any information about that, about whether or not they own Blazers. But they do. And I think the model they're driving at would be, so they've got Legion of LA, which is like the LA team, Miami Blazers, which is like the Florida team. So they're driving at a model where there would be these regionally based teams, and then they're going to do a lot. So I think that's good. I think having teams that are like not tied to a sponsor, so the name's not going to change all the time, that's great. Names on the jersey is great. But one of the teams in the league owning the league is, I just don't love that. I'm not saying they would use it to like cheat or something, but at the end of the day, like when you're coming into the last corner and Justin and or Corey are cutting your checks, like, are you really going to chop them into that last corner as hard if, they control whether or not you get signed the next year? I don't know. Yeah, agreed, honey. That's kind of what I'm driving at. I don't love it. And Blazers hasn't really had any results this year. It's like they're always there and thereabouts, but it's like they're almost like they never have their sprint train fighting with the Legion sprint train. But on pure talent, I feel like Blazers probably could. I mean, Johnny Brown, former national champion, Frank Travieso is as experienced as anyone on Legion. They have the depth to at least get up there and try to battle, but I feel like there's almost, even if this has never been spoken before, there's kind of an agreement that Blazers is like throwing stuff up the road early, chasing things down if need be, and then and then Legion is controlling it and going for a field sprint, basically. Yeah, interestingly, Clever had better results last year. Ooh, I thought we had a break there, but not quite a break. Lamperti was coming through and pulled off. I don't think anybody would let Lamperti roll off the front. These drone shots are really cool. Sponsored by the Echelon Racing League, which is like a e-racing league over on RGT, which I have done a couple of years. Yeah, exactly. Buying the best team is not the most interesting model. CS Velo has had some good results. CS Velo won tour of the Gila. They won one of the big stage races. It was either Gila or Joe Martin with Sean Gardner. They haven't had a big win in the crits yet. I know they have at least one sprinter they're pretty confident in, but it seems like maybe they're going to start shooting their shot a little earlier. I wonder if everyone is going to see that Legion is not 6 deep on the front tonight, controlling it, and say that maybe tonight is the night to get up the road. We've seen a little bit of that already. It's been pretty active. What I have not seen, okay, the things we normally see are Legion on the front, 6 deep, controlling the field, and Automatic up front early, going for the point screens. And the fact that we haven't seen that, I think, to me, says that Automatic is completely done with trying to go for the overall, either the team overall or the individual overall for Tom. And maybe I would assume they're all in for the sprint tonight, Automatic is. So I wonder if we see one of these breakaways really get away and really get dangerous if we're going to see Automatic actually go into the front with probably like Ed Beal and Aldo Ilsich. I'm going to see if Aldo is here. But I would imagine those guys would be like the tractors that are going to potentially pull things back. Let's take a look at the start list here. Or really, this is the pre-reg list. They don't publish a start list, but Aldo. Yeah. So Automatic does have Aldo, and they do have Ed Beal here tonight. So I'm thinking those guys would be sort of the powerhouses. Those guys would be doing the like Sam Boardman and Ty Magner roles. What those guys normally do if a breakaway really gets away. Yeah, I would love to see Gibbons get a win. I think he's definitely good enough. He's had a combination of like some bad luck, some not having as strong of a team, some really bad luck in what race was that recently? Maybe it was Tulsa. One of the either race 2 or race 3 of the ACC. Gibbons got caught up in a crash. His bike wasn't functional. They didn't have any spare bikes in the pit. So he sat in the pit yelling at his teammates to come in the pit and swap bikes with him because he was trying to finish and get points. But apparently that bike change took too many laps. He finished the race, got in like the top 10, but then got no points. So, yeah. Yeah, Tulsa bike problem at Blue Dome. And Blue Dome was the American Crit Cup points night. All right, here we go. Cliff Bar throwing. This is a night Cliff Bar is going to smell blood in the water, and they should be throwing some haymakers. Cliff Bar is a team that is built for long-range breakaways, and they have not had many opportunities to do that. When you've got Legion with just the powerhouse riders hitting the front and keeping it 28, 29 miles an hour all night, there's not much opportunity to send these long-range 2- and 3-man breakaways up the road. But tonight, Legion, we've not really seen anyone from Legion other than Magner hit the front. So ButcherBox is around. I don't know. There was a big shakeup on ButcherBox roster-wise in the last year. They brought in Corey Lockwood, which I think was maybe an opportunity for them to do well. Lockwood has traditionally been very strong. Lockwood also seems to, and I don't know anything like, I don't have any insider information on this. I haven't raced the dude. He's from California. But Lockwood seems not to play well with others, maybe. It seems like a lot of the teams, he was actually on Legion at one point, off Legion. He's been on and off a number of teams. Infamously got relegated for like brake checking someone intentionally, like getting in front of someone and slamming on the brakes at Redlands, I think, one year. And had a few like instances like that where I'm hearing this stuff secondhand, third hand, but stuff that sounds maybe not great. I don't know if maybe ButcherBox just doesn't have the chemistry this year. Their women's team has been doing pretty well. They've got Paige Kostanecki, who has been consistently animating the women's races, but similar to what I was talking about with Cliff Bar and the men's, they don't have a big opportunity to win when Cascade Classic, thank you. So that is a real story. I'm not just like making that up here. He really did get in trouble for something like that, something dangerous and bad conduct. And I think that's like not the only story like that about now. And then there's Spencer Movinzada from ButcherBox, who has not had a terrible season. Let's see if he's here. I'm gonna bring the start list back up, but I would say Movinzada would probably be the best chance for. Nope, not seeing Movinzada. Movinzada has been racing this year though, and has done pretty well. He would be a guy if he was here. Maybe he is here and he didn't pre-register. Again, I'm only looking at the people who pre-registered on Bike Reg because they don't publish a start list with numbers and everything. Yeah, Joe, I think you're right about that. The Women's Legion team is having a better year than the Men's Legion team this year. I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of people saying that I hate Legion, and I'm really just trying to be an objective observer. But last year Legion was dominant in a way that was unquestionable. And Clever Martinez coming through for a preem there. Sorry if you guys are hearing my cat. It's storming outside, and my cat is she's not happy about it. So that wasn't a points preem. That was just a cash preem, and Clever Martinez rolled through on that one. Drone shots are very cool. I could use a slightly closer. I think the best drone shots this season were at Anniston at Sunny Kingfrit Alabama Cycling Classic. They were really low and close, and it was like you were kind of riding in the breakaway. They're pretty cool. Seems like we got that post preem sort of sit up and look around here. Somebody's gonna launch it. We'll see who. Looks like Sam Boardman on the front here for Legion with the big flowing locks out of the Legion hair, out of the Legion helmet there. Yeah, it is almost impossible to have a better. I think Legion women's squad has won like almost every race except for like Joe Martin. They didn't win because EF women's team was there, and then there was maybe Maggie Cole Blister jumped them one time, but they probably have like a 85-90% hit rate, the women's Legion team, for races they've started and races they've won. So it would be hard to do much better than that. Boardman, yeah, that is Sam Boardman. Just checking the list again. Yeah, I agree, Ben. I think they took a number of hits. I mean, I think one thing is just when you're on top like that, it's hard to maintain that level of drive and intensity. And you also just have a target on your back. And Justin had that crash, Corey had a kid, and then they're also trying to make business moves on top of that. I'm sure they're doing behind the scenes stuff, managing, running, whatever they're doing with Blazers as well. Like they put some more stuff on the plate, and they've got a target on their back this year. And honestly, I mean, best buddies, like last season Legion kind of had the element of surprise on everybody. Everybody was going to race that season like they had raced previous seasons of USA Crits, where there was no one dominant team. No one was controlling it the entire race. Sometimes a breakaway could get away. And then Legion came in last year with a totally different plan. They were taking the front so early. People were just letting them because no one was expecting a team to go wire to wire like that, because it just hasn't been done. Even UHC back in the day when they were dominating the crits, they would not take the front at the beginning like that. They would take the front with 20 laps to go or something and then just have a stranglehold on it. But that was kind of a whole new playbook. And I think there were teams, Best Buddies, obvious example, even Project Echelon, that like talent and skill wise were on the same level, a similar level to what Legion was. But Legion just brought a completely new playbook. Legion brought a playbook that had not been used in the past to racing, and then everyone else had to adjust to that. And I think especially the day two of Tulsa, Best Buddies just like fully jumping the Legion train in the finale. That was the time and energy they put into adjusting for that Legion plan and saying like, okay, when Legion does the Legion thing, here's what we do to counteract that. And it's not going to work every time. It's not like they just figured out a complete like a silver bullet for like, this is how you beat Legion every time, but it is possible. And last season, it didn't seem possible straight up. Legion was so dominant last season that it just didn't seem possible that they were going to keep that anyone could beat them consistently. And this season, it's been wins have been all over the board. Wildlife Generation 1, Joe Martin, I believe, and Hilo was won by CS Velo, and the crits have largely been won by Best Buddies, but then Loopland Parody won Nationals. I mean, Legion just has not had the stranglehold that they've had in the past. Looks like we got another reshuffle here, and not sure who this is. Red jersey. Don't recognize this kit. I'm not seeing as many guys from that Emmanuel Iberi second bike team, South American team, but they've been super active in the crit races this season so far, and kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, haven't had huge results, but they have been in significant breakaways, getting guys in the top 10, making the race, affecting the race. Not seeing them tonight, though. Wonder if they're still here. Yes, thank you, Pete. Pete is better at YouTube than I am. Thanks everybody for watching, and please hit that button. Let's see if Drew Dillman is here. So Dillman, while we're on cyclocross racers, Best Buddies does have Curtis White here. So Drew Dillman and Curtis White, both cyclocross, high-level cyclocross racers. Looks like we got no Dillman, or if Dillman is here, he's not pre-registered. Trying to see if I'm seeing anybody from Drew Dillman races with Texas Roadhouse. Not seeing any Texas Roadhouse on this list, so maybe Texas Roadhouse just isn't here, or maybe they didn't pre-register. I don't know. Another preem, blowing the field apart a little bit. I wonder if we'll get a sit up and then a genuine attempt here. Whoop. Snuck by. I believe that was Hernandez who got that preem. Snuck by that CS Velo rider. I was saying United Healthcare did something similar, but United Healthcare would not take the front at the beginning of the race like that. United Healthcare was waiting till, looks like that's Thor, Pete Morris from the Trainer Road podcast off the back there, caught behind something. Yeah, it looks like no Dillman tonight. Going back to the guy who said United Healthcare. United Healthcare used to do something similar, but where Legion differed was Legion was taking, last season especially, Legion would take the front from lap 1. I saw United Healthcare racing. They were still around. They are sort of still around. That is the team that is, they became Rally, and then they became Human Powered Health this year. But their focus really shifted from American-based racing to racing in Europe. So you've seen them in some of the smaller American racing. Some of the smaller European races this year. Rider from Empire Cycling off the front here. Empire is also sponsored by Domestique Coffee. Don't know that guy. Jack from Empire giving it a go. Good move after the preem to snap when everyone kind of sits up there. But yeah, Domestique Coffee sponsored Empire Cycling. Good to see them getting off the front. But yeah, United Healthcare did not go wire to wire usually the way Legion did. Or if they did, it was in races that I didn't see the stream of. I saw UHT race Sunny King, a few of the crits, the Southeastern crits, in person in the final years that it was UHC. And actually, Ty Magner, who is on Legion now, was one of the key guys of that United Healthcare Blue Train. He was one of the United Healthcare had a few years where they kind of had a crit focus squad and a stage race focus squad, and Ty was kind of one of the main crit guys for them. So we got Blazers. I believe that's maybe Johnny Brown for Blazers going up the road, or yep, Johnny Brown. And interestingly, we've got Legion covering a move. So this is, I think things are definitely different right now. Legion normally is not putting guys in the move. They're normally on the front of the peloton pulling moves back. And I think that's a sign that they're kind of on the back foot. Yeah, I think, thank you. Normally, when people want to argue with my takes, they're not as reasonable as that. But I can explain myself if you'll give me a chance. But yeah, I think that part of what Legion did, uh, there is always a fight for the front. Okay, we got Curtis White. Just mentioned him. Curtis White in the Best Buddies kit right there. Pro cyclocross racer, probably one of the top 5 cyclocross racers in America. Um, Super strong. Has done well in high level crits in the past. Racing with Best Buddies this year for the first time. This move is dangerous. We got really good representation in this move. Yeah, I think Justin and Corey are just not on it right now. Corey's not doing terrible, but he was 7th at Harlem. I wonder if that's just shaking their confidence because they were so dominant last year. I think they were 2 of the 3 top spots at Harlem, and 3 for 3 at this race. Wow, Curtis White attacking from the break. He's getting after it. He doesn't look like he's really that committed, but I think he's just not going to give it back to the field. He wants to say, if we're going to get a gap, we're going to continue going hard to maintain that gap, eating something, hoping somebody else will pull through here. But yeah, it's always a fight to be at the front of the race. And I think what Legion unlocked was if they take the front at the beginning of the race, no one was fighting them for it as much. Beginning of the race, I think, everyone wants to say, I'm going to save a little bit of energy, or they did. I mean, that was kind of the old playbook was things didn't get very serious until halfway through, unless you were going for some preems or anything. Like, I've even heard I have heard Ty Magner from Legion say in person, the first 15 minutes of the crit don't matter. You really just need to sit in and save your energy in the first 15 minutes. But because everyone is trying to do that, it's easy to get to the front. And then once Legion had the front, with the firepower they had last year, they were just able to keep it there. And everyone else was caught off guard by that. So by the time other teams wanted to get up there to the front or wanted to get off the front, Legion was up there rotating, established. The speed was too high. Huge breakaway here. We'll see if the composition of this is right. This might be too big of a move. This is a weird course for breakaway to be getting away, but again, the racers make the race, not the course. So I think a lot of people, Lamperti's attacking from the break here. He knows this is too many people. If it's going to roll, it's going to be like 4 to 8 guys, and they're going to have to be fully committed from this far out. Yeah, probably. I mean, straight up, I think they did spend a lot of time like doing the deals, social media, creating blazers, having a kid, and to be at the top like Legion was last year, with everybody gunning for you, and then continuing to kind of dilute your focus. We're seeing that pay off right now. They're not in control of this race the way they were last year. Honestly, though, as a spectator, I mean, for me personally, it's more fun to watch a race where no one has a stranglehold on it. We're seeing things happening. Like we're seeing this move going with representation from a lot of teams, but it's too big of a move, and Lamperti's attacking over the top to try and break it in half. Looks like we got one of the Malherbe brothers from Cliff Bar here. That is dangerous. The Malherbe brothers are probably some of the best long-range breakaway riders in America. You got Lamperti there, national champion. It looks like Automatic is on the front of the peloton. I'm not sure if that is Thomas trying to go across to this move, or if that is maybe Aldo or Ed trying to bring it back closer. Yeah, Ben, you're right. Automatic has done a good job this year of when something dangerous like this gets away, Automatic will bring it close enough so that Gibbons can jump across that gap, and then they let it go back out again. And I think that may be what's going on. That group of 4 trying to go across right there. I think if that group gets across, that might be too big of a move. A move like that could go This is honestly looking more like Athens on the course with the hill than it is like Boise. Boise normally just doesn't split like this. Athens with the hill, it's so selective and technical, and I guess technical is not the word. Really, just corner three at Athens is technical, but you have the hill every time, breaking things up, keeping things lined out. Oh, it looks like Corey's up here. All right, maybe I was talking a lot about how he doesn't have it. Maybe he's gonna see the danger, but Legion is on the back foot. If you're seeing Corey doing any work before the final couple of laps, I do think Matt. I think that is Gibbons that made it to the back of the break. This is too big of a move, though. It's too many guys. They're not going to be able to keep this rotating smoothly. When it's this many guys, you got some varying levels of commitment and varying levels of fitness, and someone is going to pull off, and the next guy's not going to want to take it up. Lamperti appears to really want this to go. Not sure who that is from Project Echelon. It doesn't appear to be Feerhy. I think Brandon Feerhy from Echelon Monk is the nickname he goes by. I believe he's in the green sprint leaders jersey. Even that's too skinny of a rider to be Feerhy. Feerhy's got that big crit boy build. Yeah, Corey did make it in. You can see the gold helmet of Corey. Again, I don't think the helmet thing has to do with the Red Bull deal. The fact that he's in the old Evade. I literally think that Corey just got a custom helmet and has not gotten the new version of the Evade custom wrapped in that gold. As gaudy as the gold may be, I do like that it makes it easy for him to pick out. Easy for me to pick him out in the group. That's one problem I'm having with Automatic this year is that last year everyone on Automatic was on different bikes because they didn't have a bike sponsor. So it was a lot easier for me to see the individual guys on Automatic and know who was who. Also, Gibbons was wearing like some highlighter yellow high vis gloves. But now they're super professional with their Factor sponsorship, which happy for them. But it does make them harder to pick out. So that's one of the things that Legion was bringing into that into the Lions Den crit that I think is a really good idea. Names on the back of riders' jerseys and just bringing more personal flavor to the peloton. I think that makes the sport a lot easier to follow. Looks like we got maybe Johnny Brown attacking from this break. This is going to be the key is like, can half of that breakaway that was up there break it again in half and then start rolling. Johnny Brown is dangerous. Maybe not by himself, but it does look like there's a sit up and a reshuffle. If 2 or 3 guys can get across to Johnny Brown, that could be a dangerous move. Yeah, being able to pick out individual riders definitely helps. Johnny Brown, there's something about how he's built. And he's one of the only, there's only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 white guys on Legion. So on Blazers. So that makes it a little bit easier to pick him out. But there's something about his stance on the bike I can just pick out. Same thing with the Malherbe brothers. Like I can kind of just tell when it's one of them. But it helps when somebody has like a signature look for sure. Corey with the gold helmet, love it or hate it, definitely helps. Or Sam Boardman with the hair, it really helps being able to tell that that's him. Hey, I mean, fair enough. I've got the flip flop blue and purplish helmet, and I just wanted it. It's insane, but it's cool. Yeah, no, nobody's going solo on this course, and with Boardman chasing, no one's getting away from Boardman chasing. Basically, thank you, Pete. Pete is so much better at YouTube than I am. Mountain biker up there. Pete is a guy that I've had the conversation I'm having right now on YouTube. I've had on the sidelines of crits with Pete over the years, just talking about the race, who's who, and what's going on. I actually don't think that is one of the Malherbe brothers. That guy is a little bigger than those guys are. I wonder if Johnny Brown's going to pull the plug here, though, because it looks like he's kind of going backwards. So, yeah, getting up to him. Ama Insek is in here, David, and he's coming off a collegiate national championship for Milligan with my friend Will Seitz, who Will's had a good season. Yes, Chip, women already raced. That was right before this one. But yeah, my friend William, who lives here locally, races for Milligan with Ama. Ama's had a really mixed season. Yeah, Boardman is a tractor. If Boardman gets on the front, your individual breakaway is pretty much gone. Pete, is William not headed to race somewhere this weekend? I guess he's doing track nationals is his next thing. Yeah, look for young William Seitz, U23 rider, Cat 1, out of Alabama. He was 10th at Birmingham Hammerfest. He was 20-something at Sonny King in the pro race, and he's like 20 years old, so he's doing it. Him and Riley Oberding is the other one to watch out for from around here. Junior rider racing for Hincappy. Those would be my picks for juniors from the Southeast that you don't know about, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna blow up. See who this is giving it a go. These solo moves are just not going to go anywhere on a course this fast. I'm honestly surprised we've seen the degree of separation we've seen on this course because it is such a fast, wide course. This is a NASCAR track. This is, almost a velodrome. You can pedal all the way through these corners. Watch, he's not going to stop pedaling for this. Pedaling all the way through the apex. Prize money for the win. There are. I've seen the number for the entire series floated around. It's probably a few $1,000s. I got the American Crit Cup, American Crit Cup website up here in front of me. Let's see if I can find it. Participation category, scoring, tiebreak, points, ceremonies, prize money. So the overall prize money is $10,000 for the men's winner. $10,000 for the men's and the women's winner. $10,000 each. That's for the series overall. 7,000, 5,000, 3,000, going down like that. That's overall. I think the prize money for the individual events is different though. I'm not seeing the individual race prize money listed on the ACC website. Oh, okay, we got Dante Young from Blazers. We were talking about him. Another guy who maybe had a better season last year before he was on Blazers. Got on Blazers this year and hasn't had huge results. Once again, we got to move with someone from Legion represented. We got Ty up here from Legion. We've got Lamperti back there. We got one of the Malherbe brothers. That is a Malherbe on the red bike, Cliff Bar jersey. Everybody's up here. We got Legion Best Buddies, Blazers, CS Velo. Am I seeing an automatic rider? Yep, somebody from automatic is in there. Fully tucked in, can't see him. But it looks like we're Grupo Compacto again. Single file, but the elastic has barely made contact again. Manhattan Beach has $8,000 purse. Is that $8,000 per purse though, or is that $8,000 like split among the top 10 or whatever? Generally, a win in one of these races is like a few $1,000s and like I don't know, 4,000, 5,000, something like that. And there's a bunch of preems. Some of these have. I believe there's a second to last lap gambler's preem that is maybe $1,000, something like that. The prize money is not huge though, honestly. Prize money used to be a lot bigger in American racing, but that was just hard to sustain. So that's another thing that I think Legion and Blazers, one thing they've been able to do is find other ways to please their sponsors and kind of get more sponsorship money out of non-endemic sponsorship kind of brands. Someone from CS Villo not happy there, waving his hand. Looks like that was Dante. Not sure who this is in the white kit. I'm not recognizing this kid. I'm wondering if that's like a leaders or best young riders jersey. Yeah, so you do see a lot of those random $100 preems going throughout the night. It would honestly, what it would take is what Legion is doing. They're bringing a lot of eyeballs to the sport, but like, I mean, I think it would take another Lance Armstrong. I will say, I don't know if that's the way that I want the sport to go. I think we moved into a model that was unsustainable, where the amount that it took to put on a race from prize money perspective, from when we were doing more stage races than criteriums, from a cost of road closure, cost for cops, like it was a model where if any piece of the puzzle came away, the whole house of cards fell in on itself. Okay. Kaylor Marshall. Don't know this guy, but he has been super aggressive. So Kaylor Marshall. Mark that down. But yeah, I mean, I think that what we're seeing with American Crit Cup, with Legion bringing more eyeballs to the sport, I think criterium racing is inherently more sustainable than like a European stage race type model of racing. It's just it's going to bring more. I mean, look at how many spectators are on this course, and then go look at footage from any road race, even your Joe Martins, your Gilas, your Redlands. It's not like this. So it's like cheaper to put one of these on. Local governments, local municipalities are more willing to do this because you're not closing down a lot of roads. You are going to bring a lot of people and activity. They can have food trucks. A lot of the best crits also have like a concert or a festival or whatever, like things other than just the bike race in conjunction with it, in a way that like you can do that with a crit because it's a contained area, but it doesn't work as well with a road race. I actually did a crit one time in Georgia somewhere that Vertical Horizon, 90s two-hit wonder Vertical Horizon, was playing like in the middle, and we were racing around them. And they were sound checking while I was racing. So every time I come through the start finish, you'd be hearing like, "You're a god and I am not." And it would like fade out, and then you hear a little bit the next time on the way around. Pretty funny. Yeah, we got to get the barrier thing sorted. Agree there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, crits in third tier cities might be what it needs to be. Like, I'm not mad if I'm going to race in Boise. Like, that's fun. I don't know. I'm cool with that. Head first into the curb on turn 3. What race, Carl? Were you head first into the curb on turn 3? Or are you talking about the barrier thing? I'm trying to think what race. I think that was maybe Roswell, Georgia, with Vertical Horizon playing in the middle. Okay, this is another thing, David, is in the US, no one wants to do races with a proper climb. Every race in my area that had a proper climb, amateurs would not show up for it because so many people would get dropped, and it's not fun to do a road race and get dropped. So amateur participation slacks off. The organizer's not making enough money, and they just make the course easier, flatter. I mean, Flatter's not necessarily easier, but yeah, I mean, it's so based on amateur participation. But honestly, if you look at like the Netherlands, they have a lot of crit racing. Belgium has kermesse racing. Um, I don't think it's and those countries like cycling. I don't think it has to be seen as a failure if we're doing a lot of crit racing. I mean, I'll say if this was a 5-hour road race, I would probably not be sitting here streaming a watch along for the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. You're saying Legion does the same thing, meaning design courses that are easier so that they can win and or get more participation. See an automatic coming up toward the front. I think we're gonna see maybe for the first time this year automatic all in on just the finish and nothing else, and having their full kind of top tier squad here. Layliff, most of these people have other jobs. Most of these people have a coaching company or work at a shop or some other kind of hustle going on in addition to just racing. I would say probably the guys on Legion and Blazers are making, I mean, I don't really know. I would guess between like 40 and 80 grand a year, with the exception of Justin and Corey, who are probably making a lot more. Like Justin's got the Red Bull deal, which is probably a ton of money on its own. But Legion is basically like the Ineos of American cycling, where their budget way outstrips that of the rest of these. A lot of these teams, you're getting like your gear for free, your travel for free, your race entries paid for, but you're not getting much other than that. I would say, if you're on, and I don't know their deal specifically, but I would guess that like Nashville local, you're probably getting some bro deals, your entries paid for, and maybe your travel and lodging paid for. But and then Best Buddies is somewhere in the middle. Like I think they probably do have some real salaries on Best Buddies. Um, Cliff Bar is probably kind of like a part time side hustle for those guys. I don't think they're on big salaries or anything. Yeah, that's another parallel. And then it's also like when everything Legion is like Ineos in that when everything goes right for them and their playbook goes off without a hitch, it's not super fun to watch. It's impressive that they can be that dominant, but it's not very fun to watch. Yes, thank you. Like the stream if you're finding it entertaining, if you're having fun hanging out, if you're just glad that the race is on YouTube where you can find it. I think Luke. So he's talking about Luke Lamperti, saying, "I hope Luke doesn't have a side hustle." Lamperti is on Trinity Racing, which is the team that Tom Pidcock was on up until he got on Ineos. That team, Trinity, is a little bit higher level. They mostly race in Europe. They have a big mountain bike squad also. He's probably got a decent salary on Trinity. I would think he's probably making, again, 50 to 80 grand a year in salary from that team. Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's why you see some World Tour guys not even necessarily opting to do it. It's not the same type of racing, and it's not particularly, I don't know. Oh no, Brendan Feerhy standing there, Rodriguez standing there. Looks like TJ Kalela from Nashville local walking his bike off there. A few guys getting free laps. They might neutralize right here. Didn't see what happened. Looks like Feerhy. Maybe one of the Malherbe's on the ground there from Cliff Bar. No good. Yeah, Clever was definitely caught up. That looks like Travieso right here. I think that's either Frank Travieso or Dante. Couldn't tell. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, they didn't. A lot of times they do stream all of the amateur races, but they did not have a stream of all the amateur races leading up to this today. Yeah, totally. I mean, here's my take on it though. Like, it doesn't have to be the biggest sport. I would love for it to be more accessible for more people to get into it. Yeah, it's definitely going to go neutral. Didn't see who initially touched wheels there, but it does look like Alfredo Rodriguez, red kit, bent over there on the side. Alfredo Rodriguez, overall leader of the series, went down. Yeah, Alfredo did get caught in that. So that's huge. Hopefully he's able to get back in there and finish. Yep, we're going neutral and getting a full restart here. 16 laps to go. Nasty. Uh-oh, I hope that's not, that looks like it might be Pat Casey from Empire right there. Pat Casey he was actually one of the fast guys locally here in Birmingham when I was coming up through the cyclocross ranks. And oh, we got automatic Avis guys coming in pit here. I think that is Pat Casey right there in the Empire jersey. Pat was one of the fast guys locally here in Birmingham when I was coming up. Raced him in cyclocross a good bit until he moved to Colorado and co-founded that Empire team. And I think that is their connection to Domestique Coffee, the same coffee company that sponsors my team. I hope we don't have Gibbons on someone else's bike and getting relegated. I think, is that Gibbons right behind the moto ref, pointing, looking around? I wonder if they're going to just hold. I think they'll probably hold the neutral until everyone is sorted who can be sorted here. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I say all that, and it sounds like I'm down on U.S. racing or something. I love U.S. racing, but I think maybe loving it is enough. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's okay if no one is getting rich doing it, and we're just doing it because we like it. But that might be my, like, I don't know, DIY punk rock brain. Who is this from Project Echelon? Feerhy's up. Brandon Feerhy, Project Echelon. Um, yeah, David. I think these are not UCI races, so I don't think that there's a rule against it the way there is in the World Tour. You can only change kits one time in the World Tour, but I think there's no. I haven't seen a rule in the American Crit Cup against it, or from USA Cycling against changing your jersey design up. Uh-oh. Rodriguez maybe with a collarbone. Oh no. That's looking like a right collarbone break on Rodriguez, or at least that's what they're checking for. It doesn't look good. So, all right, with that in mind, let's go to the results standings. All right, so if you take Rodriguez off the board, that puts Feerhy. Feerhy is barely up, but he's on 219. I mean, I don't know that Rodriguez is out, but let's assume that's what's going on. Looks like that's Gibbons being held up on the bike right there, maybe in the pit. I don't know why he's being held up there. Rather than maybe they're going to put him back in once the field comes back around. But yeah, Brandon Feerhy would be going into first right there if Rodriguez is out. It might even still take Brandon Feerhy tonight plus one more race to take that lead, because 296 points to 219 points, that's a pretty big gap. It puts Gibbons into second though, and really 169 to 219. That's a gap that could happen. So, all right, we're back. Looks like they gave this group the gap that they had when they gave them the time gap. So this is something people may not know. When there is a big neutralization and there's a breakaway up the road, they will restart it by letting the people in the breakaway go, stopwatch, give them the amount of time that they had. So if it was 10 seconds, you three guys go 10 seconds, then at 10 seconds, the rest of the field goes. Hard to say who gets the advantage when they stop the race like that, because so much of it is like it's random. It's just like who happens to get to the line first, who happens to get a better clip in after it restarts. Yeah, it looks like Rodriguez is out. Man, that's actually not a butcher box rider. That is the leader's jersey. Oh, sorry, BB Best Buddies, not BB Butcher Box. I thought you were assuming that was a Butcher Box rider because of the red, but you're right. It is Alfredo Rodriguez from Best Buddies, who is the overall leader. Yeah, it looks like he's out. If it's collarbone, he could still. Okay, I'm gonna go full like tinfoil hat mode here. This is only race number 5 of 8. Yeah, there was a big crash just now. It looks like the biggest result of that is that Alfredo Rodriguez may have broken his collarbone. It looks like Pete was asking me who gets the advantage here. It looks like really that's given the advantage to Legion. It seemed like they were kind of in tatters before this, and now they're in full Legion mode. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, they've even got Justin up here. So the full Legion team is on the front in Legion mode with 14 to go. Gotta believe they're gonna reel this in. Yeah, Legion. I think Legion used that reset. They were spread out, blown up all over the field, and I think they used that reset to like, okay, well, we're all stopped. Where are you guys? And say like, Justin, come over here with me. Like let's all get in one place and then get to the front. So yeah, so do you know anything about Kaylor Marshall? That's someone I don't know at all. So if anyone here has some background on who that is and their team, their story, okay, Pacific Northwest Super Stud, that would explain why I don't know anything about them, because I only race in the Southeast, so the complete opposite end of the country. Is Are they a like U23 younger rider? Yeah, I think what we're gonna see is probably Boardman and Magner, or Boardman and Cowan pulling hard, and just those two swapping as many turns as they can, and then they'll probably start getting the third and fourth riders in the rotation in the last couple of laps. Lalith, you can do it pretty fast. I mean, it's possible to do it fast. I've seen people go from 5 to 1 in a couple of seasons. I wouldn't recommend it. I would say that probably the best course is to do at least a full season in each category and kind of move up. Yeah, I can, Matt, I can I can show you guys the points and places for the ACC. I got that right here in front of me. I'm looking at the series regulations here. Oh no! Another crash. Gibbons down. Shoe off. Gibbons is off. 2 CS Velo riders. Gibbons is checking the bike out. It looks like Kyle Teasler from Nashville local. He's sitting 6th overall. Having a real good season for Nashville local. They do still have free laps at this point. That looks like a scaffold. Right there with you, bud. Looks like Gibbons once again has a broken bike. Damn. They need to. Oh, okay. He was on Hangar 21. Thanks for that. I remember that team being around. I maybe even raced against them on RGT at some point during the pandemic. Okay, I got the points table here. So here is the points table for the American Crit Cup. So basically, you get 100 points. This is for the overall. 100 points for first, 90 for second, 81 for third. That goes all the way down to 13 for 20th. And then every racer behind 20th gets 5 points. How much longer do I have, or how much longer does the race have? The race has got 13 laps, so probably about 17 minutes. Damn, Gibbons is unhappy. He's trying to get a bike. Somebody got a bike for him? Yes. Is that Dalton, maybe? Or that was Daniel Swan. Daniel Swan with the bike for Gibbons. Daniel, I should have known that. Daniel's a guy out of New Orleans that I've raced with a decent bit. Oh, how much longer do I have for my wrist? So it was actually totally fixed, and then the new skate park opened up, and I fell skateboarding and sort of re-injured it. So I'm wearing this just to be careful, but I can ride on it. I've been riding outside. Yeah. Yeah, Matt, that was a team bike from his teammate Daniel Swan. I believe that was Daniel. Better race a car in bikes I race an aluminum bike. Better to race a carbon bike or an aluminum bike. Almost everyone's on carbon because almost no companies make. Talking about the sustainability, the sport of the sport of cycling. I think that bike companies are really a big part of the reason that the sport is not very sustainable right now. Nah, I suck at flip tricks. I'm doing frontside airs on the bowl. No, I'm on a CAD 13 actually, but I would have bought a rim brake LA Sprint if I could have found one in 2020. Those are also great bikes, but I think the new 105 kills me. The fact that the new 105 group set costs more just the group set than my entire CAD 13 with 105 for the whole bike. My entire CAD 13, I bought a CAD 13 with 105, which I bought off a guy used who bought it at the beginning of the pandemic and never rode it. So I got it for $1,500, but new, that bike would have been $1,800. You buy a bike for $1,800, throw some Chinese carbon wheels on it. I changed out the bars and stem and stuff to get the fit how I liked it. But yeah, 105 till I die. Dude, my bike, that bike with 105, it's still got the full 105 group set on it, save for the crank set. Aluminum bike with 105 that was 1,800 MSRP, I have at 16 and a half pounds with pedals and cages on it. A new bike with 105, so just the group set is $2,000, and the newer disc bikes maybe a little bit more aero. They're probably running all the cables internally, which makes them harder to work on, more expensive because you got to take them to the shop more often, and they're gonna weigh like 20 pounds. Even you get some decently light Chinese wheels on there, they're gonna be 18, 19. Like, I mean, disc brakes stop well, they work fine, but the bikes are so heavy. And I think, yeah, Ben, the thing is, like, they're making the price go up and up, and they're not seeing a drop off yet. But the thing is, the people that are not buying bikes, that are not getting into the sport, it's like they're stemming the tide of new riders because they're making the barrier to entry so high. And some of that is I mean, Carl, I'm not saying it's not possible, but how much is a new Ventum MSRP, and what group set do you have on it? It's possible to build a disc bike cheaper. To build a disc bike light, but to get a light, cheap, resilient bike, it's too hard. I feel like the honestly the Allay, the rim brake Allay might have been the peak. But there was a moment there where there were a lot of good race ready aluminum bikes on the market, and more they're going by the wayside. And then the group that you would have put on those 105 just became significantly more expensive. So that's my point. We got this break of three still holding on here. Is that both Malherbe's, or is that one Malherbe and someone else from Cliff Bar? Looks like Legion is gonna pull it down to nothing here. So here's the question: does Best Buddies, are they able to adapt because they've lost? I'm assuming they were gonna race for Rodriguez, who is now out of the race. But they were able to, right around this point of the race in Tulsa, jump the Legion train and take over. So I don't know. The new 105 group is $2,000, just the group. Yeah, CAD 10 really was the perfect. I've been saying it. I think bikes peaked sometime around 2015, and we're kind of going backwards now. Honestly, it would probably be good. I think that's one of the reasons I wish that fixed gear crit racing was still going on, because you could race a $500 bike in a fixed gear crit and it would not be a Hernandez is not still in it. Hernandez is still in. Sorry. Rodriguez is out. Hernandez is in. I guess my question is Best Buddies able to, on the fly, realize that they've lost somebody and make that adjustment? Because I think the only reason they were able to jump the Legion train in Tulsa is that they had a perfectly dialed plan that they were able to just execute on. And now they got a wrench in the works. Did Gibbons get back in there? I mean, we saw him take that bike, but did he actually get back in the race? Also, where's Lamperti? Is Lamperti still here? Lamperti could freelance it and win alone. I will admit I do have a bunch of aero stuff on my bike, but yeah, I'm trying to go as fast as I can for as cheap as I can, and arrow shaped bars are a pretty big get. Lamperti is behind the Legion train. Lamperti could freelance this. Can we please big camera, y'all, big camera. We need to see what's going on here. I'm gonna look at this tiny window. Boardman on the front. Legion still got their whole train. They still got all six. This is looking real good for Legion. Legion is still 6 deep. They haven't even burned anyone yet. They got 3 laps to go. They're probably going to have Boardman is taking his seppuku pull right now, ending his own life. We're going to have Boardman, Cowan, Williams, Magner. Boardman is still up there. Nobody's been able to. Yeah, Lamperti's right there. And then we got Dante on his wheel. I bet interesting here, we got Corey on the back of the train and Justin in front of him. I actually would have thought that since Justin is kind of off the pace, Justin would have been last as the sweeper. I wonder if this means that Corey is sweeping for Justin. Tough to say here. All right, it looks like Boardman is done. Looks like we got hard to tell Williams and Cowan apart. I think that's Cowan on the front right now. Yeah, Justin is in front of Corey, which is interesting because normally Legion Sprinter is not the 6th guy in their train. It's not the back of their train. Their Sprinter is one from the back, and they have a sweeper behind the Sprinter who's basically making sure that no one is right in the slipstream of their Sprinter. So we'll see if that's honestly a dangerous move if they don't have any sweeper and Corey is going to go for it. Corey could actually tow Lamperti forward. I think Lamperti has more kick than Corey does right now. 2 to go. Alec Cowan's about to end his life here. Cowan, I'm honestly surprised how long each of these guys from Legion is staying on the front. I think he's done. Tyler Williams. Uh-oh. Lamperti's moving up. Lamperti's on Magner's wheel. Lamperti's in the middle of Legion train. Lamperti's in front of Corey. I think Justin was getting dropped. Uh-oh. Hernandez on the wheel. Feerhy, Brandon Feerhy in the green, Gibbons in the orange. Lamperti. No idea who got that. Magner. I said at the beginning of this, I think Magner is one of the strongest riders in America right now. Magner is the strongest guy. Honestly, big fan of Magner. Really nice dude. See him at the cyclocross races in the Southeast sometimes. Wow. Yeah, Luke second. Insane that Legion was able to still pull that off. They really used that final reset neutralization to their advantage. Crazy big move from Lamperti there. Wow. Yeah, it's cool to see Ty. I mean, Ty has been in the service role. Looks like Curtis White there giving him some congratulations. I think Curtis had a wonder where Curtis was in that finish. Yeah, Ty has had to be in the service role. I mean, he was the unsung workhorse. I actually have been thinking about making a video about how Ty Magner is probably the most underrated rider in American racing right now. The guy on Legion that no one knows about. But I think after all the wins he's gotten this year, maybe he will be correctly rated. Wow. Down to the bike throw. So close. Lamperti's got a good bike. Look at that back angle. That's a good throw. Man, so much such good like race brain in that final lap for Lamperti to go. He was on Corey's wheel and he realized like this is actually not where I need to be. Like Corey is not the fastest guy here, and he went around up back into the middle. Yeah, I truly think Magner is one of the most underrated guys in America. So Feerhy also had a good. This is going to be a big shakeup on the overall. Lamperti was fifth in the overall. He was second there, so he is going to get 90 points. Feerhy was like maybe sixth or seventh, so he's going to get like 59 points, 53 points, something like that. As compared to anybody outside the top 20 is only getting 5 points. So the ACC format really rewards you getting into that top 20 consistently. I think Ruggiero, it looked to me like Alfredo's got a broken collarbone on the right side. Yeah, I've raced Magner around Georgia a few times. He used to show up in his United Healthcare kit on a full suspension mountain bike to the cyclocross races and just like lay waste to the Pro 1-2 fields on like 2.4 tires. So like these heavy grass courses, heavy grass. Hey, there's Bodie from Cyclocross Radio podcast right there, New Orleans guy. I don't know who John Boy is, but I'm assuming that's another YouTuber. Yeah, no problem, Matt. Happy to be here doing it. I'm gonna watch these races either way, so it's more fun to watch them with you guys and talk about them. These guys weigh. I mean, there's a really wide variety, but I would say most of the guys on Legion are in the high 100s, probably like 170 to 200 pounds. But I really struggle in races like this. I am 135 pounds. Um, and when the races are just 28, 29 miles an hour on a flat course, especially with a tailwind, I suffer because, my watts per kilo, my is 4.5 to 5 watts a kilo, somewhere in there generally, my FTP is, which probably I would guess Magner's FTP is somewhere in the 4.5. Hey, tweet at NBC. Tell him you want me. I would be happy to comment on the tour. Would love to do that. But yeah, so like Magner is probably 4.5 watts a kilo FTP, but he has a lot more kilos than I do. So his raw wattage is way higher. Like he might be 4.7, 4.8, I don't know, something like that even. But he's probably got a 350, 370 watt FTP. So when they're going 28 miles an hour, he's like right under his threshold. Whereas guys like me that are, I mean, you can see me right now, not a lot of meat on these bones. Clock cutter, I've always been a skinny dude. I don't know. This is just my body type. I don't do anything crazy. I actually race the best when I'm right around 136 pounds. So I try to put more weight on, and I've actually been lifting a lot in the last year before I broke my hand to try and maintain some of that body mass. Matt, even in the draft, when you're going 28 or 29 miles an hour, especially if there's a tailwind or a crosswind, it's kind of like taking the draft away from you. It's a really, really big, really big effort. Yeah, Ty's FTP is probably close to 400. I am not vegan. I do if there is a vegan option. That's generally what I'll order at a place, and I don't buy a ton of meat to eat at the house. But let's see. I'll look at the next race. That's a good question. The next race we got up is Salt Lake City on the 16th, and then we've got Intelligentsia Cup. Oh, it looks like I was wrong. There are 9 races in the series. So this is number 5 of 10. 10 races in the series. So Salt Lake is up next. Salt Lake was really the only one last year. It might have been day 2 of Salt Lake where Legion really lost control of the race. It was really, really hot and things got super crazy. Legion was sending guys into moves. Rather than being the team that was bringing the moves back. So we'll see if we see more. Hey, there's Davey, who's been on the channel drinking looks like I don't know what he's drinking right there, but with the ponytail right there, ponytail and mustache. Good to see him back out there racing. Maybe we'll get something together. We've talked about putting a GoPro on his bike, having him broadcast live, and then I could get a little picture-in-picture going, pull his live GoPro into this feed, so have a window over here somewhere with his live camera from the Peloton pulled into my stream. That would be cool. Ah, crap. Sorry, Tom. Well, I'll end it, and you'll be able to scroll back and get to the beginning. Interesting race, though. Yeah, that's something we've been toying with, Lance. I know that I was actually in a race that Clever, the Birmingham Hammerfest race. I was in that race with Clever, who was live streaming it from his GoPro on his head. So it's definitely possible. All right, I don't know who these guys are. I've not heard anything about Pete. I'm not even totally sure that was Pat. It did look like him though. Was his team. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe, all that stuff. And see you guys next time.